All right, I'd like to open the meeting at 7:05. Selectman Newhouse had a prior family time to be at. He told us weeks ago, so unfortunately he's not here. I'd like to start transmitting of the treasury warrants 18, 18A, 19, and 19A. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Selectman O'Connell, second by Selectman Semaglia. All those in favor? And it's unanimous. We have no minutes to approve tonight, so we have a 7 o'clock appointment. Scott Garant, Chairman of the 4th of July Committee, requests to use the town common for tree lighting ceremonies on December 7, 2013. Welcome, Scott. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Mr. Chairman? Members of the board, as stated, the annual tree lighting is scheduled for Saturday, December 7th, starting at 4 o'clock, running until 6:30. Santa will be arriving courtesy of the Wilmington Fire Department at 6 o'clock to light the trees on the common and to have photos with the children inside the 4th of July building. Once again, we'll have our hay rides, cookies and hot chocolate provided by the 4th of July Committee. We'll have a train display by the Boston Metro High Railers, the participation for the Methodist Church Choir, local clergy presenting the Christmas story, and an ice sculpture sponsored by the Wilmington Chamber of Commerce and local businesses. As always, we certainly couldn't stage this event without the assistance of the department heads and the staff from the DPW, Public Buildings Department, Wilmington Police, and Wilmington Fire Departments. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. So our formal request is for Saturday, December 7th from 4 to 7.
All right, thank you, Scott. I'll just turn to the membership. If anybody have any comment they would like to make at this point, questions, comments?
Just a nice job that committee's been doing for many years.
Outstanding. I mean, I think it's great that you continue the tradition annually, and I know the community gets a lot of joy out of it. So I know you and your team put in a lot of hours that we don't see here tonight, and even the viewers at home. So thank you, and looking forward to attending.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Yeah, it's such a fun family activity. Have you ever had like a rain date for this event at all, or is it just kind of goes, right?
It goes. There is no rain date. Maybe 12 years ago, we had a real bad snowstorm. So it was event off, turn on the lights on the common, and we all got to drink a lot of hot chocolate.
Hopefully that won't happen again this year.
I'll
look forward to being there, and thanks again for everything that you do.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Once again, Scott, ditto. They said everything. You guys do an outstanding job, not only during the Christmas time, obviously 4th of July, which is a big festivity for the town and the surrounding community. So if there's a motion to grant the request.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Selectman O'Connell, second by Semaglia. All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Scott. Have a good night. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Very good. And it's going to be a quick meeting this evening. We're going to communications. Jeff?
Okay, under communications, we have a public notice. This is with respect to the classification hearing that is held every year by the Board of, at the request of the Board of Assessors. Public hearing to provide an open forum for the discussion of local property tax policy with reference to classification for the fiscal year 2014 taxation purposes will be held at the Town Hall on Monday, November 25th, 2013 at 7:30 p.m. Interested taxpayers may present their views on classification policy at the hearing or in writing to the Town Manager's office until 4:30 p.m. on that date. So that's scheduled for your next meeting. We have correspondence from Xfinity. This is with regard to some changes in their program lineup and reference to the channels. In keeping with our ongoing effort to provide regular updates regarding our services, I am writing to inform you that on or shortly after January 6, 2014, G4 and G4 HD will no longer be available on channels 219 and 786 respectively. In addition, on January 1st, 2014, Shop NBC will change its name to Shop HQ. Please be advised that customers are receiving this information in advance via bill message. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. It's Jane Lyman. Then under board to consider, there's a request for a auctioneer's license. The request is submitted by Deborah Potter on behalf of Boston Auctioneers and Antiques. The application was submitted to the police department for their consideration, and the response back from the police chief indicates that the Wilmington Police Department has reviewed the application for annual auctioneer's permit submitted by Deborah A. Potter, corporate officer of Boston Auctions and Antiquities LLC. We recommend approval of the application for the business located at 355 Middlesex Ave, Suite 11, Wilmington, Mass. Just by way of information, Ms. Potter did have an auctioneer's license last year. A notice was sent to her back in August advising that if she was looking to renew, that the date was coming up to renew. They actually had through October. We didn't hear anything. There was a subsequent letter that was sent out, and then because there was no response, at this point it becomes instead of a renewal, a new license. So what would need to happen would be a recommendation or a motion to grant the license, and then I have the auctioneer's license here to sign.
Given with the time, yes, ma'am, would you like to say something?
I'm here, and
Why don't you state your name for the record, please? Sure.
And the reason I didn't get back, I'm really sorry about that, but I had to leave the business in the hands of my husband and a couple other people. My mom was dying, and I was there with her, and that's where I should have been. And I did change the auctioneer. I was paying somebody else to auctioneer, but I went to school, and so now I am the auctioneer of record anyways.
Thank you. Yeah.
You don't see going to be a problem to see this, so
Okay.
no.
Good.
Did you receive all the recommendations from the town boards, especially the chief of police, which weighs a lot of importance on this decision, so.
But I think the only thing, Mr. Chairman, that we will require before actually issuing the license is the state license.
And I made a copy, and I left it at the auction house when I came there tonight.
Okay,
I'll run it over tomorrow.
great.
And we can incorporate that as part of the motion, bring it to the manager, and the manager will be fine with that. So I believe, is there a motion on the table as described by the town manager with the understanding you're going to bring the state license tomorrow, correct?
So moved.
Motion made by Selectman Somagli. Is there a second? Second by
second.
Selectman Champoux. All those in favor? Unanimous, and see the town manager tomorrow.
Thank you.
And I'm sure he'll give you the license then. All right? Fantastic. Good luck.
Okay, next under board to consider is an application that I'm recommending be forwarded to the Northern Middlesex Stormwater Collaborative. We received a request from the Northern Middlesex Council of Governments asking if the town would be interested in participating in a community innovation challenge grant, which currently has been funding a number of communities, 9 communities in particular, from the Northern Middlesex Council of Governments for stormwater management services. Specifically, it funds educational programs, regional stormwater mapping activities, and also provides a mechanism for joint purchasing of goods and services related to stormwater management. The town, as you probably know, already has a stormwater master plan, and the town has been engaging in its own amount of educating the public about the importance of stormwater management. One small element to that is you may see near some of the catch basins these emblems that are affixed there that just advise people not to pour paints and other pollutants into the catch basins. This grant gives us the opportunity to essentially join with 9 other communities, including Billerica, Tewksbury, Lowell, Dracut, and essentially take advantage of the resources that they have through this grant program and provide even greater levels of education and other resources. So I would recommend that the board authorize participation in this program, and it would require the signature of the board members.
Very good. Any questions, comments, or motions?
I have a question, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely.
To you, Jeff. Reading through it now, glancing through it now for the second time, I read it through over the weekend. The question I guess I have is about, you say grants, and I didn't see how those grants, once they become available, are dispersed. Is it just whatever funds are available divided by 9, or are some communities, based on population, more eligible than others? Or do you have any sense of how that gets handled, or is that premature to ask that question at this stage?
Well, the grant administrator is the Northern Middlesex Community, Northern Middlesex Council of Governments. So the money actually goes to them, and then they provide the services. It's essentially a program where each of the member or participating communities would receive the services, whether it's technical training of staff, or there might be certain types of publications that are produced to educate the public about stormwater management. All of that information and all of those resources are dispersed amongst the 9 communities. I'm not sure specifically, whether Lowell, for example, being a larger community, whether they get, more of the resources. I don't know exactly how that's all divvied up, but, I think when I talked with Mike Woods about this, our sense was that there's no cost to the town to participate in this program. It supplements what we're already doing, so to the extent that we can receive additional assistance, all the better.
Agreed. Thank you.
Very good. If there's any other questions, comments, or somebody would like to entertain a motion at this time?
I would move that we accept the recommendation of the town manager to sign and become a member of the Northern Middlesex Council of Governments Community Innovation Challenge Collaborative.
And is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second, motion made by Selectman Champoux, second by Selectman Somagli. All those in favor, and it's unanimous. Thank you.
It's just, then under, final item under board to consider is the December and January meeting schedules of the board, and also the proposed date for the presentation of the annual budget.
Whatever's the pleasure of the board, December, we're looking at one meeting. If anyone has vacation or if there's anything of importance, or a Monday, maybe the 16th, right smack in the middle, might be sufficient. Whatever the pleasure of the board. Want to take a quick look?
16th would work.
16th is probably right.
Yep, 16th. All right, so we'll, Jeff will have the meeting in December on the 16th. You're also looking for meeting date in January sometime?
Yes, so the January meeting dates, keeping to the Selectmen's typical schedule, would be January 13th and January 27th. Typically, as you know, the annual budget presentation is done at the Selectmen's last meeting in January. This year, as it turns out, the Mass Municipal Association's annual meeting is held the weekend immediately preceding the board's meeting of January 27th. That meeting is always helpful to me and the staff in terms of understanding what the legislature may be looking at in terms of state aid. And so I would suggest, rather than the budget presentation being conducted on the 27th, that the budget presentation, that the board have a separate meeting specifically to the budget presentation on February 3rd, which would be the following Monday. So whatever business needs to be conducted separate from that could happen on the meeting of the 13th and 27th.
Whatever is the pleasure of the board. So you're looking for a budget presentation on February 3rd, it'd be the first Monday of the month?
Yes.
All right, and why don't we take care of January 1st, January's meeting, so what did you say, it's the...
13th and the 27th would be
the
the,
13th and the 13th would be the 20th, right? Would
Yeah.
January
Those are
20th?
regularly scheduled meetings. right?
those, yeah.
We have regular schedules on January?
The board's typical meeting would be
The second.
the 2nd and the 4th, which is the 13th and the 27th.
Fine, so we're having 2 meetings in January, that's what the recommendation, right?
Yes.
All right, yeah, all right, so we'll just have our regular meetings, and then we'll have that special meeting the first Monday of February for budget presentation.
That's right. It would just be only the budget presentation.
Fine.
To me, that makes perfect sense. I think in years past, even when the MMA meeting has been, leading up to the budget presentation, it's always compressed. And I've come to learn that at that Mass Municipal Association conference and meeting, as Jeff said, we do get some insights into where some of the state legislators and the governor's head is at with regards to budget. So nothing's etched in stone yet. You don't get an absolute, but you certainly get a better understanding. And it seems like it would give you enough time to incorporate, to the extent that you can, any thoughts or any insights you may have gotten from the MMA meeting. So I'm fully on board, even though it is a little bit of a separation from how we've done it in the past. It seems like an effective and an efficient use of the time.
Jeff, we'll take whatever your recommendation. What about if the budget presentation? What about the first actual meeting in February with the Board of Selectmen? Is that too far?
That would be too far, because the requirement is that the budget presentation happen 90 days or no less than 90 days before the town meeting.
Because Lou wanted me to ask you that, that's
Yeah.
why. That's fine, we'll meet 3 times in the month, not a problem. All right. Sounds good.
Can we get extra pay?
Yeah, put in for overtime.
Okay, $251. Right. You want to talk about rate of pay? I've been on the board for a while and haven't even received a pay raise in almost 20-something years. We had a new TM, let's see what happens on this time around. Very good.
Do we need to vote on that, or do we need to vote on the?
I don't think it's necessary to
Okay.
vote, just a consensus certainly of the board.
Okay. That's right.
Nice try.
Under the upcoming important dates, we have through the end of the month here, November 30th, curbside collection of yard waste. That, just as a point of information, because I have received some calls on this, the intention is always to pick up the yard waste on the date of your regular trash or recycling collection, but given the volume of yard waste that's out there, it's not uncommon for the yard waste vendor to not get there on the same day as your regular trash collection. So if it turns out that your trash is collected on Wednesday and you put your leaves out and they're not collected on Wednesday, you shouldn't worry. They sometimes get behind, and they will certainly be there to collect the leaves as soon as possible.
Jeff, if I could politely stop you, we need to go to public comments before we go to the
Oh.
important dates, if that's okay. All right, not a problem. All right, now, first of all, any public comments at all?
Can I, George, can I ask a question on the stormwater thing, or is it just a done deal?
Say what, repeat that, please?
I actually wanted to ask a question with the stormwater grant.
Sure, go ahead.
Is that just state or federal grants? Do you know offhand? Or would that be both or either?
I don't know the source of the community innovation money, whether it's, I believe it's strictly state, but I'd have to check on that. Sometimes the federal government sends money to the state, and the state then sends it on to cities and towns, but I can't say for certain. I believe it's state, but I'd have to check.
How about if you let the manager check, you want to give him a call? How's that?
That's not important. The
All right.
reason it was, like, I was kind of hoping to get it in before your discussion, but the other question I had as a follow-up, I think back whenever it was that we took money for the pier we built in Silver Lake, that I think that obligated us to open up the beach to the other towns. By joining this association, are we going to obligate ourselves to anything regionally that we may not have control over? I don't know, I'm just asking.
Yeah, well, first of all, in terms of the lake, I don't know that the pier in and of itself obligated the town to open up the lake to other people from other communities. Because of its designation as a great pond, and there's statute that specifically addresses this, the town is obligated to make that area available to people outside of Wilmington. So, but with respect to this particular grant, I'm not aware of any other obligations that this puts on the town by accepting these funds.
That's, I just wanted to ask.
Just to let you know, Judge, non-residents came well before the pier in Silver Lake.
I don't even know if that was correct. I apologize if I wasn't saying
Oh, no.
that was a fact. I was just saying it was my understanding that it had some implication. And the question was just for the stormwater, was there any kind of obligation? And
That's a good point.
I was just asking a question for information.
That's a good point.
Thank you.
All set. All right, why don't we go to new business and committee reports, and I'll start with Mr. Shampoo down here.
Well, I guess I'll just take the time that you afford me here just to pay tribute and thanks to everyone that came out yesterday, Veterans Day. It was a very moving, touching reflection and fitting for the veterans within our community and really all veterans. I want to take just an extra couple of seconds to say thank you to our colleague on the board, Lou Samaglia, and our veterans agent, the best veterans agent in Massachusetts. We are so fortunate to have working within our community. So, Lou, thank you as always for pulling off a beautiful ceremony yesterday, fitting of those that have served. Lastly, I'm confident that the rest of you will echo or say similar things, but as Jeff will announce or make us aware of, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock is the special town meeting specifically to vote on 3 specific issues. This is not, I just want to impress upon residents that this is not a town meeting that you're used to. This will not be the Saturday of several hours. This is, I suspect and I hope that this should go reasonably quickly. So I encourage all residents to please just carve out a short piece of time on Wednesday night and come down to the middle school and attend the town meeting and listen to the points that are made and specifically cast your vote. I hope you'll cast your vote in favor specifically of the article allowing the town to purchase the St. Dorothy's property. But just come and participate in the process and have your voice heard. So we look forward to having a nice full room on Wednesday night at 7. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, obviously, the Veterans Day and the town meeting, I'm not going to be redundant. Selectman Shampoo did a nice job in articulating those points, and certainly I would echo those sentiments. I just wanted to share that last Thursday evening, we had a Yentile Farm Development Committee meeting. It started at 6. We closed out about 10:30-ish, and we had 2 design firms in to give presentations to the committee. Very extensive presentations on the part of 2 firms and also extensive question and answers. And we did vote on a recommendation to the town manager, and I won't provide any public details at this time because the town manager is still working through that process. That meeting was a public meeting, and we certainly will have more future updates for this board moving forward. But I'm excited to say that we have taken a big step forward in gaining momentum into this project. And for the viewers at home, as you're considering a property like St. Dorothy's, for example, Yentile is very much in the works. And with any municipal project, it takes time, due diligence, working with all of the various boards and permitting process in the state. And the list could go on, but we will have more updates, and we're certainly getting some traction on the project, and we'll be back in touch with more updates for the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. As the liaison from the Board of Selectmen, you're doing an outstanding job, Judy. Thank you. And Mr. Sampu said it best. Lou, I just want to shake your hand. You do a great job every year, and it means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a couple of things, Mr. Chairman. Referring to the leaves, it's funny you say that. I had a couple of calls today. The Boy Scouts every year on Veterans Day, they pick out some veterans and widows of veterans' houses, and they go and break up all the leaves. And one gentleman, they had 91 bags of leaves out in front of his house. His pickup's not till Friday. Is there any number you can call that maybe if they're in the area, they swing by, or is this just, the weather doesn't look like it's supposed to rain, but he was a little concerned if it rained, or the 91 bags of leaves that the Boy Scouts had raked up would be all over the street.
Why don't you give me the information after the meeting, and I'll, I can see if there's any opportunity to do that, or...
Okay. I can do that. And again, thank you to the Boy Scouts for doing that. And like Mr. Shampoo said, I would like to thank everybody for turning out yesterday. It was a great turnout. I always love to see the children there. Lots and lots of kids were there. It was awesome. It was just a wonderful day, wonderful tribute for year-round. I'd like to thank Chief Pagonis and the police chief. Obviously, they're there every year with their honor guard and their rifle team on short notice for our volley of 3 to participate in the ceremony. I'm not sure what happened with the fire department's honor guard, but the fire department did show up, and it turns out that there was an issue with a young girl in the band, and it happened to work out great. They were right there, and they took care of her, and fortunate for that. And I'd also like to recognize Korean veteran Leon Shalafort, who helped us place the wreath at the monument. That was very cool, and I'm glad he was there to help us with the ceremonies as well. And thanks, everybody, for coming out. It was great.
I just need to make a quick comment. Yesterday, I know I was able to speak and acknowledge a few people, the Cub Scouts, the Boy Scouts, and the Wilmington Band. I need to put an apology. I did not know until we were leaving. I think this was the first time they were there, Girl Scouts. They were there, and I give a apology to those Girl Scouts and the parents that support them. So I apologize to the Girl Scouts. I want to acknowledge them that they were there, and they did an awesome job. So my apologies to the Girl Scouts. Thank you.
I thank them.
You did. You're classy, Libby. Thank you. All right. Important dates. Here we go.
So continuing on with important dates, as has been mentioned, the 13th of November, which is Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. at the Wilmington Middle School in the auditorium, is the special town meeting. Also November 13th, brush drop-off, Old Main Street, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. November 16th, brush drop-off, Old Main Street, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. November 16th, Shawshene Elementary School Craft Fair, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. November 20th, brush drop-off, Old Main Street, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. November 23rd, brush drop-off, Old Main Street, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then we have November 23rd, the Senior Citizens Holiday Craft Fair at the Bazell Senior Center, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. November 23rd, Shawshene Tech Craft Fair. That's 100 Cook Street in Billerica, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. As previously noted, November 25th, which is the Selectmen's next meeting, discussion of the local property tax policy with reference to classification for the fiscal 14 year. That meeting or that presentation will be done at 7:30. November 27th, brush drop-off, Old Main Street, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. November 28th is Thanksgiving Day. Town offices will be closed. And then November 30th is another brush drop-off, Old Main Street, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor? Unanimous? Thank you, everybody, and have a nice night.
Thank you.